Our country has jumped the shark, friends. It's time to get the wheels back on the road. Let's talk about guns. The Second Amendment has been a touchy subject and has been for as long as I can remember. On the one hand, we have people who want to restrict who has access and what they have access to. And on the other hand, we have people screaming, "You'll take my guns when you pry them from my cold dead hands before you'll strip me of my right to bear arms," with their weapons held high in the air. As I see it, these two groups aren't even part of the same conversation, much less effectively debating each other. The right to bear arms covers a lot of territory. Territory our founders never even considered possibility when they scribbled those words in the Constitution 228 years ago. We've had laws on the books for years keeping things like anti-tank weapons off the streets, and with good reason. Anyone who claims they don't support some measure of restriction on weapons is a liar. Plain and simple. Anyone who claims the general population should have full access to the panoply of artillery that falls under the term arms is either delusional or a psychopath. Probably both. As hilarious it would be for everyone to be bumping down the freeway in their own personal tricked out battle tanks, I think it's safe to say we're on the same page when I say we need to keep those particular arms off the street. Now with that said, I need to address the so-called other side of the issue. No one is trying to take away your guns. Passing legislation that requires stricter background checks for all gun purchases and limiting the number of rounds a weapon can hold in a magazine is not in any way going to result in the police knocking on your door to take your guns away. I don't even understand where this train of logic comes from. Maybe I missed some part of history where that happened. I have admittedly only been around for less than 20% of the history of the country, and I'm far from a history expert. Only ones suggesting this is going to happen are the ones opposed to laws limiting magazine capacities and relatively minor restrictions on what types of firearms can be sold to the general public. I don't know who's been feeding you this line of logic, but you might want to think a little harder about where you're getting information from. These laws will affect future sales, people. Future sales. Do you see now how these two groups aren't even talking about the same issue? If not, you're a lost cause, but don't tune out because I haven't given my solution yet. There's a popular notion going around right now that the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Sounds pretty ignorant to some people, but I'm on board with one caveat. Everyone should be allowed to carry, openly, but only revolvers. It may sound stupid, but if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. It limits everyone to 6 rounds before needing to reload, which is what all the people who want to restrict magazine capacities want, but at the same time gives the supporters of arming everyone what they want because they all know damn well it's not going to take more than 6 rounds to stop a bad guy, especially if they aren't the only ones trying to put a stop to what's going down. I think far more crime will be prevented by open carrying than concealed carrying ever will. A guy who tries to rob a convenience store isn't going to think twice about trying to rob it if there are a couple people who most likely aren't carrying concealed weapons in the store. But if he walks in and sees a couple of people who are absolutely carrying, he's going to question his own skill and willingness to suffer injury before pulling a job. Concealed carry laws create a culture of fear. Open carry laws create deterrence through mutually assured destruction. It worked for nukes, so why not common thugs? Think about it. It'll be like the Wild Wild West all over again. And I don't mean that movie with the stupid mechanical spider.